A warm welcome to all of you for the second Legacies Annual Compliance Awards 2015. Awards that are conferred to professionals who have excelled in exhibiting the culture of compliance and ethics across the organization. Last year, we were lucky. We had the king of compliance from the world of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, inaugurating the first set of awards and the first awards function. And this time, we're also very happy to have a lot of dignitaries with us. Round of applause for all of you who have come here and the dignitaries, please. Thank you very much. Well, from the last time, we have grown definitely from the quality perspective of the nominations, 200 nominations across 7 categories, so a round of applause for that as well. Mahatma Gandhi said that it's important to celebrate good people, however difficult they are to find. Actually, Gandhiji has not said it, I am saying it, but you have to say somebody big has said it, otherwise nobody listens. We are going to start this function. There are 2 things about this awards function that were distinct from last time. One was the fact that theme of compliance by choice was actually considered. And most importantly, we had a fabulous session during the day which went live on YouTube. And whoever attended must have really enjoyed, because I saw some parts of it. I really thought it was pretty insightful. Before we start the function, I must tell you, while I was waiting outside, I had a newspaper which I saw, and there were 2 elements which I thought related to, I'm a stand-up comic, I look at life from that perspective. Today I'm just the MC of the evening. There were 2 pieces of news which for me felt like they were extremes of compliance. One had to do with the Bihar elections. And the news bulletin there was that in the official records, Lalu Prasad's younger son was actually older than Lalu Prasad's older son, which means complete lack of compliance. Then there was a second piece of news just next to this piece of news, and it was about the adult movie star and now film star Sunny Leone. And that piece of news was an interview where she said, "Even today my scripts are approved by my husband." This is height of compliance. But we'll have something in between, and we are going to celebrate that. And before we call the person who has been behind these awards on stage, there is a small AV that we'll be playing, a 10:10 animation film.
Good governance, corporate ethics, these are buzzwords that Indian organizations have woken up to lately. In an attempt to becoming truly global, organizations have now started taking compliance seriously, thus leading to better and ethically stronger ways of functioning. Legacies Services, a company committed to providing legal and regulatory solutions for compliance-related issues, celebrates the dawn of a compliance awakening by celebrating Compliance 1010. Compliance 1010 is a week-long event that pays tribute to all organizations which have adopted effective compliance measures, and acknowledges all those people who have played an active part in bringing about this change, from management to the compliance professionals who have inculcated the spirit of compliance. The event is aimed at creating awareness regarding the need for compliance, with seminars and discussions hosted by eminent industry stalwarts. Companies who have already set things in motion are judged by an independent panel of prominent individuals on various criteria to recognize their contribution. The activities of the Compliance Week converge into a grand award ceremony, honoring all those instrumental in bringing about a culture of compliance. Come, be a part of an event which celebrates the advent of a new era of ethics, good governance, and compliance. Visit us at www.compliance1010.com to know more.
Yes, this year's theme was compliance by choice. To tell you more about it and to officially do the welcome, I'd like to request on stage Director of Legacies, Suhas Turzapurkar.
Thanks, Vikram. A big thank you to each one of you who have been supporting us and who are here in the room. I would like to kind of take you back in terms of where we began the journey and how how we came to compliance by choice. And I'm not going to kind of bore you with respect to compliance. I think we've had a bit of overdose of compliances since afternoon today. When we looked at what we're going to do in the compliances, I think the first question that the corporate executive started asking us is, what do we comply with? What are these laws? I mean, all of us know that in India, I think there are very, very complex legislations. There are central laws implemented by the state governments. There are state laws, there are local laws, municipal laws, and a Gram Panchayat laws. So there are various legislative bodies, then there are very administrative bodies, and there are regulators as a kind of a new phenomena that's come up post-91. And all of this was becoming very complex. So, I mean, I remember an example where I won't name the client, but a client came back to us and said that I need to make sure that each of my function head gives me a certificate of compliance. The function heads came back and told managing director as to please tell us what all we need to comply and we'll give you the certificate. He said, I don't care, you find it out yourself and please give me certificate. It went on for a while when there were about 3 incidences of fatal accidents taking place and non-compliances happening. It so happened that the managing director said, my neck is on the noose, so all the functional heads, you please give me indemnity. The moment it came to a legal indemnity being given by functional heads, they started asking, you gave us very clearly written instructions as to what we need to comply with, and at that point in time that we stepped in. We started creating a repository under all laws of what an organization need to comply with. And I think that was the first thing where our journey into compliance solution began. We also said no two businesses are alike, therefore no two solutions would be alike. So we started creating different verticals and we started going through the solutioning approach and we started creating a white label around it. Obviously the question came that it became tick the box kind of an ATOM and compliance software where people simply reported to say that I'm compliant, actually not realizing that in the brick and mortar, there was no authentic reporting happening. Although I wouldn't say that they were lying into the system, but the fact remained that there was difference between what they reported and what was actually on the ground. So we started looking at what can we do to help our clients, make sure that on the compliances regime, they are better placed. So we looked at compliance as a mission, and what we started as a C mission, you'll probably find a logo of C mission here on the top of the compliance 1010, is where we said, it's a mission for us. We want people to honestly report into the system what is the state of affairs so that nobody lies, there are no rogue employees who kind of be thrown out of the organizations. So that's where C mission started, and we started looking at, can we really change the mindset? Can we really change the behavior pattern of individuals and start helping them report honestly into the system? I think we achieved a quite bit there. That's where we realized that in order to promote this behavior of compliance executives, we need to make sure that there is a pride, there is respect that goes with the responsibility of compliance and ethics professional. And I think that's where we started looking at compliance 10-10, or we said no compromise on compliances. Everyone got to score 100%, got to score 10 out of 10 on compliances. And I think 3 years ago, in a very limited manner, we started. It was kind of an internal movement 3 years ago where we went to our own clients and requested them to celebrate those people, those compliance and ethics professionals who had shown exemplary behavior. That is where compliance 10-10 started. Last year, for the first time, we went out, and thanks to, I think, Mr. Adi Godrej and everybody who supported us in our initiatives, where we said that it's recognition across the industry and not only related to Legasis clients. And that's where I think we started looking at compliance mission, we started looking at respect and responsibility. Having said that, that was a journey so far. This year, when the question came as to what do we do and what is it that clients require? And I think that's where we went back to clients when we realized. I think that Companies Act 2013 was already, had started being implemented. It so happened that that was the legislation for the first time which said that every organization need to have a robust compliance program that takes care of compliance with all laws. And there was a statutory pronouncement. As a director's responsibility, every director is required to sign up that there is a compliance program. We said this is really legislative mandated kind of a compliance program initiative. It may or may not work at the industry level. Because we realized that we have laws and there are kind of no enforcements to the legislative regulations that come up. That's where we started looking inwardly to say that what is it that will kind of make sure that we are complying or we are proactively complying. That's where this concept came about, compliance by choice. On one hand, when we are talking about, and India is full of contradictions, India is full of conflicts that we kind of envisage every day. We, on one hand, talk about complete deregulation. On other hand, we do over-regulation. We talk about, shareholders' return as a profit. We talk about triple bottom line approach to say that we look at not only profits, but look at ethical values, social values, environmental kind of values that an organization is talking about in terms of triple benefit approach, triple profit, triple benefit approach. There is, on one hand, a lot of talk going on in terms of legislations being purely rule-based legislations to moving towards policy-based legislations. So there are these conflicts that are happening, and in the midst of all these conflicts and contradictions, I think compliance and ethics professionals like us are kind of getting confused as to what do we do. On one hand, the companies are kind of pushing us to say that there are no budgets for compliances and ethics kind of functions. On the other hand, there is an onerous requirement that's coming in, whether it is companies law or insider trading regulations now, which for the first time talk about statutory role of a compliance officer. So on one hand, there is a pressure, there are no budgets being available. On the other hand, there is this push from the regulatory and legislative aspects. And in the middle is today the compliance and ethics professional. And that's where we said that forget, all these conflicts can be given away if you philosophically look at and don't ask this question as to what is it that I need to kind of comply with, what law I need to comply with. Just ask, saying, according to law, how should I behave? According to law, what is it that I need to do? That's the kind of a normative system principle that we've looked at. And that's where we realize that if you comply by choice, your questions about whether it is over-regulation, deregulation, whether all those conflicts that I mentioned of will not come into the fore any longer. And that's where I think compliance by choice is what we started off with this year. I think it's been well received by the industry. Last Monday on the 5th, when we started celebrating Compliance Week, we had a small inauguration in Pune. After that, we went, our implementation and our team went to 10 different states. We kind of spread this concept of compliance choice across almost about 100 clients by the time we came back here today this evening. I'm happy that more than 200 nominations have come for these awards. It's gaining recognition today. I'm also happy that we've got very good traction in terms of what happened in the afternoon. I think one of the key highlights of the afternoon program was Richard Bystrong, the international kind of compliance and ethics consultant, was interviewed by Mr. Ramesh Sharma. So ex-cop interviewing ex-convict, which was live digital in the digital space. Very well received, sir. I have already started receiving lots of likes around the kind of live YouTube content that we provided. It was a very interesting thought. So while this is happening, at the global level, what's happening is really the Yates memo or 9/9 memo is what we call, is making US Department of Justice making more onerous and responsibility being bestowed in even the joint venture companies to take action against the CEOs that may be located here in India. And from that perspective, I think the global kind of compliance and ethics space is at an inflection point. In India, we still have to reach that inflection point, but we have to resolve various conflicts that are in our mind. That's where we, again, kind of came back to compliance by choice. And thanks for accepting this fundamental and this concept. And thank you for being here. I think that was the background that I had to kind of share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Suhas. The real challenge next year, if we can implement this, would be to actually interview Indrani Mukherjee from here. That will be the good compliance challenge for us. Okay, now we come to the awards function. We have a fabulous set of awards as we discussed, and we'll be starting with the Compliance Performer Awards. I'd like to request on standby to have the awards ready, please. We have fabulous prizes, awards from the awards. These wonderful gifts are powered by Victorinox, makers of the original Swiss Army knife since 1884. They are true companions for life. So the first set of awards, I'd like to call on stage Colonel Chandok, CEO of Victorinox, to please come on stage for the first set of awards. Sir. So you have to give the awards, not... Please come on stage. Mr. Sandeep Parekh, founder of FinSec, also request to give out the first set of awards.